Falcons lose a heartbreaker 22-17 to the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, fall to 1-2. And we're going to break it all down here on today's post-game show. A lot of conversations surrounding some of the big decision-making and play calling at the end of the game. We'll talk about the players individually and their stats later on in the video, but let's just get right to it, which is the decision towards the end to initially go for it on 4th down from the 6-yard line, where ultimately it's an incomplete pass to Drake London in the end zone, turnover on downs. And this brings up Antonio Kim's point and a lot of points, which is we could have won, kick a field goal, and kick one more. So let's unpack the alternative, which is when Atlanta was first deep in the red zone, not this previous series, but the one before that, where they get stopped, there's the no PI call and Kyle Pitts in the end zone, right? And they turn it over on downs. Had they kicked a field goal, let's run through the next couple of sequences. They go down 22-20, and they kick it off to the Chiefs, who then get it at probably their 30-yard line. And let's say the Chiefs don't get a first down, they get 5 or 6 yards, and they punt it to Atlanta. Now the Falcons have the ball down 2, but an important difference between the way they got the ball at the end versus this alternative theory is if the Chiefs are punting from their own 36-yard line versus their own 10-yard line, very good chance that Kirk Cousins and company open up inside their own 20. Instead, thanks to the good field position, because that's one of the pros of going for it and not getting it, is you pin the Chiefs deep. And the Falcons don't get the ball at their own 35 down 2. They would get the ball down to inside their own 20. And if they march down the field still and find themselves in 4th down, just like they're at the end, and kick a field goal and go up by 1, are we really going to think that Patrick Mahomes with timeouts and a minute to go, only needing a field goal with Harrison Butker, who, by the way, last week walked it off against the Bengals from 50+, would not have accomplished that? I think the only way the Falcons were going to win this game is if they scored a touchdown and they didn't give the Chiefs enough time to score back. That, to me, after watching the Patrick Mahomes experience a million times, was the only way Atlanta was going to win this game. Score and score so late, the Chiefs can't do anything about it. Ultimately, I think this game just comes down to they couldn't execute at the end, right? 4th and inches, and we can debate about the play call there. I'm open to that. Running to the outside when that really wasn't working all night. The outside zone rushes were not working for Bijan. The Chiefs had it figured out versus a QB sneak, Algier up the gut. Although they just ran Algier up the gut on 3rd down and didn't get in the first, but it got him enough to be a yard or 2, and all they needed was inches. So yeah, we can critique that last play call on 4th and inches, but I still stand by all the decisions Raheem Morris made. They ultimately just couldn't make the plays. It's a make or miss league, right? They unfortunately missed. Now, I will add, I don't want to sound like a loser, but I'm kind of proud of this team. They went toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs have been a staple of prime time. Atlanta plays in their first Sunday night game since 2019. In that same time span, Kansas City has played 14 times. And they go down the field, punch them in the mouth, go up 7-0, exchange blow for blow a little bit. Falcons defense made stops at the end when they had to. Justin Simmons, red zone interception. Offensive defense made great plays. At the end of the day, Nick Bolton just made the most important play of all. I think that's what this game really boils down to, right? When you had a one-on-one, they made the play, the Falcons didn't. But we have plenty of reason to believe if the Falcons can hang with the Chiefs, they're going to be a good team. It's 1-2. It's not a great start to the year, but this is a good team. It's a good, talented roster. They're headed in the right direction. This is going to sting because it felt like you had a great opportunity to really cement yourself with some of the big dogs of the NFL. But I have no fear and no qualms with saying this Falcons team is going to go places this year. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to beat a lot of good teams. It didn't happen in September, but it's going to happen in December and January when you need to most. I'm confident in this team. I think you should be too. I don't think this is a loss to panic over. I don't think this is a loss to lose sleep over. You had a good look. You had a good shot. Unfortunately, they just missed. I stand by, like I said, all the decision-making Atlanta made to get to the end there. If they kick a couple field goals and give Mahomes and Chiefs the ball back with timeouts and a minute to go, and Harrison Butker, yeah, I've got good reason to believe they are probably going to find a field goal themselves and just stab Atlanta Falcons fans in the hearts as they walk to the exits with no time left. Now, before we get on to the rest of the post-game show and talk about more players in depth here, I do want to give a quick shout-out to our sponsor today, which is Game Time. You see, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, one thing I really enjoy about Game Time is their all-in pricing option. Toggling this feature shows you the total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Now, taking a step back from the final 3-4 minutes of this game and just talking about the previous 55 minutes, for me, the story of the game is probably time of possession for much of the game. The Falcons were like a boomer bust offense. They were either scoring quickly early on or there was a string of punt, interception, punt. And the Chiefs just dominated the clock. And they wore down Atlanta's defense. But it was a bend-don't-break defense. Falcons defense forced a lot of field goals towards the end of the game, or after Kansas City's first touchdown. Like, they definitely gave up some plays, and that's to be expected. When you play Kansas City, you're not going to be going up against, well, I would say Bryce Young and the Panthers, but they looked good today. But you're not going to be going up against an easy opponent. Like, you should anticipate giving up some big plays. But for the most part, they kind of kept Kansas City, I don't want to say in check, because the Chiefs had a long, couple of drives of just marching down the field. But I'm proud of the defense. 22 points against Mahomes and company. Travis Kelce was pretty much a non-factor. Jesse Bates with a huge pass breakup to get the ball back to his offense. Justin Simmons picks off Mahomes in the red zone. This defense made a lot of really good plays. Sure, they probably could have made one or two more to maybe keep this game a little bit more in reach. But all in all, I like the way the defense played today. I'm not assigning any blame to this loss to the defense. I truly believe this is a loss where you don't look at it as, what did Atlanta do wrong? Just give credit to Kansas City. I don't want to be a simp for them, but Nick Bolton made a big play when they had to. That, to me, is the takeaway from this game, right? You had the one-on-one in the hole, running back versus linebacker. Unfortunately, it's the linebacker that made the play. Now, make sure to subscribe to the channel, though. We're going to keep you guys in the loop for all things Falcons all season long. So if you're looking for a free Falcons YouTube channel, hit that sub button down below. But just final thoughts and injury notes. I should have mentioned this earlier. Shame on me. Drew Dalman, Kaleb McGary both left the game with leg injuries. Kaleb McGary left the game with a knee injury. Drew Dalman, I never saw what the injury was, but it looked like a foot injury since he hobbled to the bench. So leg, knee, ankle. But we lost Kaleb McGary and Drew Dalman, so you're missing 2 out of your 5 starters. Storm Norton did a pretty solid job of filling in. Ryan Nuziel filled in at center. So you had 2 backups in. Overall, I thought this offensive line wasn't on their AA game like they kind of were against the Eagles last week, but they had a tough opponent, Chris Jones and company. That's a good defense for Kansas City. So dealing with 2 missing starting offensive linemen, all things considered, they fared as well as you probably could have hoped. There were some bad plays here and there, but they made some big, good plays as well. So that's some of the big injury news coming out of this. Hopefully neither one sustained any major injuries, but If we get more information, we'll keep you posted. But 2 starters going down and leaving the game halfway through with an injury. That's going to do it for us on our post-game show today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you in the loop with all injury updates and things like that going into this upcoming Sunday against the New Orleans Saints, who suffered their first loss of the year. So you beat the Saints on Sunday, you're 2-2, you're tied at the top of the NFC South.